Latest. Government to charter flights to deport asylum seekers and clamp down on migration. The government will charter flights to deport asylum seekers as part of a clampdown on migration. More taxpayers' money wasted. People who are dangerous and have Garda escort will be put on a smaller flight, according to Justice Minister Helen McEntee. How many of these dangerous people are in our communities? And we've been called far right over these things. The government has tenders out for possible chartering of flights to give the option of transporting large numbers of people or migrants who are potentially dangerous and need to travel with Gardaí. The minister was unable to give a date as to when charter flights may be put into use. It comes as the cabinet signed off. Hang on, she can't give a date. There's no date. It comes as the cabinet signed off on 2 new countries being added to the safe list and a clampdown on people coming into the international protection system who have been granted refugee status elsewhere. Another thing we've also been saying: economic migrants should not be using the international protection system to come to Ireland, she said. Another far-right view. The international protection system is here for people who genuinely need protection. It should never be used as a backway or separate route for economic migration. Another thing we've been saying for a long, long time. That's not to say that every single person who's being deported will be deported through a chartered flight, but I think it's only right that we have the option available to us if we have a large cohort of people who are being deported or who have received deportation orders. Are they voluntary orders or what's going on? Are at the end of their own stage in process that they can be deported collectively and together, she continued. Good. Anybody who is dangerous or who has a criminal record or we don't know where they came from shouldn't have been allowed into our communities. And that's why our communities have been standing up for these past months, years at this stage in some towns. All far-right opinions, huh? Instead of taking a potentially dangerous person or somebody who might be at risk on a commercial flight, that they then would be taken on a smaller chartered flight, it is very much to have the option, although they don't know when they're starting it. But I'll ask the question again: how many dangerous people are in communities on this island at the moment? I would say lots. Ask Aisling Murphy. Ask them kids and the teachers outside the school in Dublin. Ask the 2 gay lads in Sligo who had their heads chopped off. She said it was used previously in Ireland and said it is important the option is available. The option should always have been there. We the people are concerned that the government have been bringing in people and they've confirmed it with their own. Talking about changing the safe countries, another thing we've been talking about. People coming in from places that aren't war-torn, that they aren't being abused. They're just here to make some money and improve their way of life. And of course, we don't mind that once you're doing it lawfully and legally and you're not a threat to our women and children and men. She said there used to be around 3,000 asylum seekers coming into Ireland every year before the pandemic. And now this number has risen to 13 or 14,000. And when you walk around Dublin town and look with your own eyes, I don't believe the numbers they're giving us either. I think it's far more than what they are giving us. She said the government was not prompted into the clampdown on migration by recent arson attacks on accommodation earmarked for housing. See the way they get a little dig in? It's not because of the fires. That is arson. That is criminal damage. That is no way connected to what government is doing. She said the state is in a challenging situation due to the rising numbers of migrants. Yeah, of course, we know that. I do think that we're seeing somewhat of a new norm We need to make sure that we have as effective and efficient system in place as possible to be able to respond to those demands. They're improving their workforce, more people getting hired by the state, just doing their job, flooding the country with dangerous, unvetted people. The Minister believes that expanding this level of swift and clear decision making will lead to further decreases in efforts to use the asylum system here as a backdoor to economic migration, said a government source on Monday. That's what we've been saying all along. The state must fall, people. The state must fall. This comes as the government is being urged to extend the €800 Ukrainian accommodation recognition payment to people taking in other migrants. So they want other... The government is not paying that. The people are paying that, by the way. The monthly payment was a key motivation when deciding whether to take in a refugee, according to a new survey. No doubt, huh? Money, money, money. Helping Irish Hosts, a not-for-profit organisation which connects refugees with hosts and other host supports, said thousands of asylum seekers have been granted leave to remain but cannot move out of direct provision because of the rental crisis. So they stay in the free place, even though they're working. Extending the payment is a part of communicating boldly with people the Irish welcome as opposed to negative sentiment and narrative, said EEO Angie Goff. A quarter of Ukrainian refugees currently live in host accommodation. The organisation will launch its survey of 1,412 Irish hosts in Leinster House tomorrow. Nearly half of hosts were matched with refugees through implementing partners such as Helping Irish Hosts organisation, Red Cross, United Nations Migration Agency, and the Peter McVerry Trust. United Nations Migration Agency. They have an agency for migration. Only 16% of hosts were matched with a refugee through local councils. Nearly all hosts say that hosting a refugee has been a positive experience. 76% say solidarity is what motivated them to take a person in. While half extended the pledge to over a year, 14% of hosts do not intend to extend their offer of accommodation. Ms. Goff said that offering a room in your house and apartment to a migrant will help them integrate into Irish society. While the research shows mostly positive experience of hosting a refugee, there are some negative experiences, with one host saying, "It turned out we were very misaligned with our guests in terms of values. She made it very clear that she saw it as a rental agreement." However, a different host said hosting has given them great satisfaction. Hosting is more than just a bed. It's a network and an opportunity for integration facilitated by people in local communities, said Miss Goff. How about bring a homeless Irish man or woman or family into your house if you have the room? There's an idea.